Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to take a look at the chart setups and breakouts of two of the most well-known stocks on the ASX, and that is Flight Centre and Z1P. Now do keep in mind before I get started, I'm not a financial advisor and this should not be taken as financial advice, nor am I recommending you to buy, sell, or do anything with these particular companies. Consider this as education and entertainment purposes only. So let's get right into it with Z1P. We started pre-COVID at $35 down to a low of $8.70, but what we have here is a nice looking channel. And in fact, if we connect these trend lines here, it's a little more obvious that where it bounced most recently. So if we take a little zoom in, we can see this significant break to the upside, and I tweeted this setup yesterday before it occurred. So if you want my live tweets and setups a lot earlier, check out my Twitter at demoniaco ASX. And what we have is this setup breaking out from a nice triangle pattern, and then of course a little bit of confirmation here today as we broke up above the top of that triangle pattern. So it's a beautiful little swing. This is classic swing trading stuff. It's trading within a structure and it is beautiful. So swing to the upside, and you might be wondering, well, what's my plan for the trade? Well, I really ideally wouldn't want it to see it go below pretty much this trend line is ideal. So I want to see a rally and a breakaway rally of sorts. I don't want to see this, just like come back down over the next couple of days and then break down. And if it does, look, stop losses are going to be in place and there'll be an opportunity to re-enter perhaps at the bottom of this range should this fail. Should this just be a flop, a bit of a dead cat rally, if you will. So there are some targets, some key targets to pay attention to. We can see this horizontal here at around $17.80, which is the initial high of this channel. You can see it acts as a bit of resistance. There are some data points here and some levels of significance to where it's held. So that'd be the first take profit target, and then scaling out as it gets higher and higher. Ideally, want to take out most of the position by around just under $19 here. And for anyone who's ballsy enough and is willing to hold it for a little bit longer, there is that opportunity. Perhaps it gets to this top trend line. How long it takes to get there, not entirely sure. I think you're all aware of the fundamentals of this stock not being crash hot. And I do want to point out, for anyone who does care about the fundamentals, I just want to point out that this stock did a capital raising at the basically absolute lows here. So the market cap at its bottom was 964 million, and when we see it retest the bottom just like a week or two later, you can see it's sitting at like $1.6 billion. So almost 100% increase in shares on issue. So keep in mind that when this stock hits pretty much this level here at $19, nearly just under $20, the market cap is going to be almost the exact same as the pre-COVID highs. So do keep that in mind. I know that is fundamental information and it might be worth understanding as it starts swinging back to the upside in market capitalization. Personally, I don't see Flight Centre being worth $4 billion, particularly when you look at its financials, obviously, and returning to its pre-COVID levels, I'm not so sure about that. Hence why I'm more eager to scale out of the position as it swings to the upside. Who knows, maybe it gets rejected off $18 and just comes crashing back down. I'm not entirely sure, but again, this is all about looking at what has set up, what's existed. I think the risk to reward is quite clear, and the re-entry, if it fails, is also quite clear in the support level here. Moving on to Z1P, this one's really quite straightforward. We've got a breakout of pretty much a move from earlier this year in February, so a nice few months in terms of chart setup for this one. We've got the brush here, so this is a nice little breakout. Volumes haven't quite confirmed it, but it is a good start. We've broken out of this channel and it's refused to sell off and retest these lows here at the $6, $6.40 level. So it's a nice little chart, and we also have a little bit of a band here in terms of resistance. So you can probably consider this purple area as a level of resistance. There's a couple of data points. It's not as clear cut as simply going, hey, we've got a simple straight line because of this level here, but we also have this level here, and there's some areas of resistance there as well. So it does range a little bit, as you can see. It's not a perfect level of resistance, but I think it does give a nice clear direction, a swing potential to just under $8 as the first target. I'd expect some resistance there. Also potentially intraday, a key level would be sort of the bottom out here as well. might be worth paying attention to. It might be a pretty insignificant. Intraday might be a bit of resistance, and that's about it. But ideally, a swing to the $8 mark would be lovely. Any breakout above $8 and retesting 8 would be a great entry. I would definitely consider that for a trade. And that's pretty much it. Those are two lovely looking setups. I thought I'd share that with you guys because we're really seeing a potential reversal. Obviously, this is the very beginning of the reversal for ZipPay. So, tomorrow it could just flop and retest, $6 and 90 cents or something like that. But this is the beginning of a potential swing trade, both for Zip and Flight Centre. I think the charts look absolutely lovely. I think there is a great potential for a swing trade. This setup might take a little bit longer for Flight Centre. It may come up and then retest this $16 level or potentially the bottom of this trend line. But again, this white trend line is going to be my area of support, and I'd be looking at a stop loss, maybe perhaps about 15 cents below the white line, perhaps just a little bit more of a resistance level. You guys know that the Victoria cases are going up, and despite that, this stock is still consolidating and still managing to break out despite what's happening in Victoria. So guess what? I guess no one cares about COVID-19 anymore when it comes to Flight Centre. I think we're all a little bit like, so what? It's already taken a hammering. But yeah, swing to the upside looks like a really good potential. And if you found this charting or this information useful at all, please do consider hitting that sub button and the like button. I'd appreciate that a lot. Otherwise, guys, have a good night.